Well, hello everyone. Like March said, I'm caught off guard as well. I didn't expect such amazing answers. For those of you that said it's a difficult question, you certainly gave amazing answers. And I think you'll be happy with what I have to say today because it's going to address a lot of what everyone talked about. The reality is that there's not one solution to homelessness because there's not one. Reason why people are out on the street. And so the key is really to come up with a collaborative system which incorporates so many of the different pieces that each one of you talked about. And I think that that is the difficult piece, is how do we come up with that, and who's going to do that. And I'm a firm believer that government cannot solve all the problems, and so it really does come down to the community. And I think Mosaic has been a testament to that. We've really brought the community together and done so much over 20 years. So some of you mentioned research and the reasons why. There has been a lot of research done. I can tell you that those of us in the field, like myself, we know the issues. There's been a lot of research done as to why people are out on the street. But the question is, how do we bring that system-wide approach to fix the problem? And so that's kind of where we are. I'm going to, Marge, do I have control of the screen right now? Okay. If I can, hopefully I know how to do this. Can everyone see that? Yeah, great. Okay, so as you may know, many Mosaic Interfaith Out of the Cold merged with Blue Door Shelters in May of last year. So now Mosaic is a program by Blue Door. And I just want to talk a little bit about why we merged. A lot of people are wondering what that was about. You may know Michael Braithwaite, who's the CEO of Blue Door and former CEO of 360 Kids and Raising the Roof, and he's very dynamic. Michael and I have known each other for a long time. We went for coffee about 2.5 years ago, and we just kind of said, hey, why don't we merge? And we just thought it was wonderful, a wonderful idea. And the reason being, because Out of the Cold really has been doing a lot with community partnerships over 25 years. We've grown a lot, but sustainability has always been an issue. A lot of it has depended on myself. We never had staff. So for me, sustainability for this incredible program was one of the key reasons for the merger. We now have a team behind us, a lot of expertise, and we're going to be able to grow from there and bring in support services as well. I think that was Michael and I our main vision. And I think a lot of you mentioned, the different pieces that need to be addressed, and that the mental health and the affordable housing, the addictions, the education, the training, all of those things. So Michael and I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful to bring all of the Blue Door services, which really address many of those issues, and Out of the Cold, which addresses the social issue and the community support, under one roof? This is what people need, is a one-stop shop where they can come in and they can get whatever it is that they need to move forward. And so I think that was our vision in the merger. And then, of course, for sorry, I'm just gonna try to move this. So for Blue Door, the reason for the merger was really to strengthen our strategic pillars, and those are housing and housing stability, organizational capacity, employment, and health. And we thought that bringing the merger together, we would create more opportunities. So just for example, we are working now towards various different ideas, which some of you have mentioned already. What are the opportunities now that we can create by bringing all these things together? And one of the things we're looking at is possibly leveraging a lot of community resources, for example, church lands. We are now going to be hiring someone to develop a plan for developing affordable housing. And one of those, the strengths may be community resources like church lands or mosque or synagogue resources. And so the merger really was aimed at strengthening a lot of the Blue Door strategic pillars as well. So some of you may have heard, Blue Door provides some of the main emergency housing programs in York Region. So Leader Place is for families, Porter Place is for men, and then we have Kevin's Place, which is for youth. Right now, the capacity has reduced a little bit, but there's a lot of growth happening with a lot of those programs as well. The services that Blue Door provides, we do housing retention is a big piece. So I think Carol talked about prevention. That is a key focus of Blue Doors. And so we provide a lot of aftercare to the men, families, and youth moving from Porter and Leader and Kevin's Place into homes. And so a lot of aftercare is provided in terms of mental health supports and addictions, case management and counseling, and then Housing to Health is also an interesting program that we have as well. And that's really helping people to secure the housing and then providing the peer support in terms of mental health and other support so that people can stay and retain that housing. And that is done in partnership with Loft and the Craftsman Center. So a lot of partnerships with other organizations. This is exciting. It's a new program that started and it's doing extremely well. It's Construct, and that's a social enterprise. So some people talked a little bit about education and skills training. And so that's what Construct is doing. It's bringing people into a program where they're provided with skills training for 8 weeks. It's all construction related. We have projects now that we're doing where people get the work experience through mentors. And then there's wraparound supports, and it's also helping to lead people into trades in construction trades. So it's doing really well, this program. We're hoping at some point to expand it as well. And that's where Out of the Cold comes in with all of our faith partners. We may be able to get more projects through the churches and things like that. So if you're interested in Construct, please do connect with me. And then, of course, now we have Mosaic Interfaith Out of the Cold, which is now a program by Blue Door. So you may all know about it. We're not changing the program. We're still keeping with our faith partners, although right now during the pandemic, we have had to cut down to 2 sites. So we have Ebenezer United Church in Markham that operates on Tuesdays to Thursdays. And we have Richmond Hill United Presbyterian Church, which operates from Fridays to Mondays. So it's slightly different during the pandemic. 2 churches, very few volunteers. We do have about 15 to 18 that come in to help serve the meals. But it's mainly our staff that are running the program right now. And we have cut down the bed capacity to 20 beds. We just couldn't operate 50 because of all the protocols that we have in place. So as you can imagine, that's posing quite a challenge because of the limit of beds. However, York Region has opened up additional beds at a transitional facility, which is a hotel. So overall, I think pre-pandemic, we had about just over 100 beds in York Region. And now during the pandemic, with the reduction in capacity with us, the Blue Door shelters, and In From the Cold, transitional was open to supplement those beds. So we do have an equal number of beds now as we did from pre-pandemic. However, we have more numbers of people experiencing homelessness now, and I can talk about that a little bit as well. So the program is going well. We have a lot of challenges. Navigating through the pandemic has been quite a nightmare, and it's been very difficult, not only just to maintain the services, the bed capacity, but to maintain that kind of atmosphere that we used to provide, which was the social atmosphere of, lots of volunteers and all the love we gave, and the family atmosphere. It's very different now because people have to be separated with barriers. And so how do we really provide that person-to-person care? But we have managed to do it. We're focusing on spending that one-on-one time with our guests, and our staff do a lot of the talking, and we're still laughing with our guests. But it's a very, very different environment. We've had a lot of outbreaks with COVID, and so that poses a lot of challenges. We've had some staff shortages now as people drop out because they're testing positive, and or are fearful of coming in. We have a lot of staff fatigue. Our staff are champions. You know, we talk a lot about healthcare workers who are amazing champions, but shelter workers are as well. And our staff go in there every day, risking their lives, and they're doing this work, more work now. We have security guys that are helping with the cleaning and the registration, and you know, everyone's just kind of jumping in to do what needs to be done, where before we had a lot of volunteers. So our staff are experiencing fatigue, motivation. You know, sometimes we feel like nobody cares, and you know, a lot of these um, issues of isolation that are happening with everyone else. I think that we're feeling it just within the shelter system, you know, trying to do this work and trying to deal with all of these challenges that are happening with people coming in with severe mental health issues. Uh, you know, how do we do all of this and yet feeling like, does anyone really care? So, you know, all of those kind of mental health issues are affecting our staff and our clients. And then the expenses. So somebody mentioned donations. Yes, donations help a lot, and especially right now during COVID, because our expenses have literally tripled during the pandemic. Things like buying the plexiglass dividers and the PPE, and things are coming up every day with public health where we have to now go out and buy stuff. You mentioned clothing. It is sad that we can't accept clothing right now, but our hands are tied. It is a public health regulation. So we are limiting the amount of clothing that we're taking. We are handing out the basics. So coats, brand new coats, socks and underwear, toiletries, but we have to purchase a lot of it. So if you'd like to donate, please do contact us, because there are specific things you can donate, but we cannot take just used clothing at this point. But yeah, clothing is a challenge as well. Breakfast cards, because we don't have volunteers, you know, like Peter, who did such a great job with his little serving table, making everyone laugh. And we don't have that anymore. We have paid staff that are behind a divider now, and we can't really mix with people. And we don't have volunteers in the morning to do breakfast. So we're giving out Tim Hortons cards so that people can go out and get breakfast at least. So we're in need of Tim Hortons cards. Again, if you'd like to donate, please contact me. I want to talk a little bit about the challenges that our guests are having. Forget about our challenges. It has been really difficult for our guests right from the onset. They're lost. There's a shortage of beds. A lot of the shelters now are an outbreak, so they can't access them. They have to now go through transitional in order to access a lot of the beds. The navigation issues that they had before have now tripled. They just don't know where to go or how to get there. So they do call us, and now we have to direct them to go to transitional, or the in from the cold and the out of the cold are the only shelter providers where they don't have to self-isolate. So our doors are open. But again, we've been in outbreak, so we can't take a lot of people. Finding beds is very difficult right now for people. Finding places to go during the day has become really difficult because Tim Hortons was closed and there are no community centers. Where do people go during the day? They still have to leave our program at 7 a.m. And so that problem has still not been resolved. And then, of course, the addictions and mental health. You know, people mentioned how there's more people out on the street. We don't have numbers for that, but I can tell you we're seeing a lot of new faces. People that have lost their homes because they can't afford them. Domestic violence has increased during the pandemic. Addictions and mental health has just worsened. People can't access their medical care as easily as possible now. And so all of these issues have really increased. And so we are seeing more people, and we're seeing more people with more severe issues, which makes it more challenging for us and for them. So the pandemic has caused some serious problems, and it is very, very sad for us to see that, but we're trying our best. Um, One of the silver linings has been that government has stepped up during the pandemic. So I would like to say that both the federal, provincial, municipal levels, the pandemic really pushed people to say, hey, we have a problem and we don't have time to solve it right now. So we have seen great collaboration with our municipal governments. The municipality of York Region really stepped up to say, okay, everyone, come to the table. And so now we actually meet twice a month, sometimes once a week with the region. So that means all the service providers are at the table. We are talking about what we can do together. York Region now has an approach which is a systems approach. So out of the cold, like I said, is the open door. So people come to us. The transitional is the place where they go to isolate. Salvation Army is providing a lot of supports at transitional. EMS is also there providing medical care. People isolate and then they're sent to Blue Door shelters, Porter, Leader, and things like that, where they get more supports, and then we're moving them to the other programs. So they are now within a system. So that's been great, the community collaboration and government coming to the table. Funding has been presented, extra funding, but it is still very limited. Government is struggling with funding right now. And so we really have to pull together as a community and say, okay, what is it we can do? And a lot of the solution is really funding CNOI, providing us with the donations that we need. So I'll move to the next slide. Just a little bit else on Blue Door. So Blue Door is really growing right now. For the last 2 years with the merger and with programs that we've implemented, like Construct, the Housing to Health programs have increased. We also have programs like Abode, which is going to be providing families with housing and long-term stays, like one-year stays. And so we're looking at building. We are in the process of buying properties, and some of them are going to be confirmed shortly. And so that will be moving families in there. Then we've got Forward, which focuses on senior men, again, long-term housing. We've got Inclusion, which provides supporting housing, and that's provided now through the LGBTQS communities, and particularly for youth. We also have a transitional unit going up on the Blue Door site up in Newmarket, which is going to provide 14 units. That's a modular housing facility. And so that's going to be opening sometime in May, we're hoping. So a lot is going on. We are focusing at Blue Door on all of those pieces that were talked about. Affordable housing, we're opening units. We are catering a lot of the affordable housing to the various different populations. We are now going to be investigating the opportunities within our communities, like our faith communities. How can we leverage them to open more affordable housing units? We're going to be doing things like Peter talked about, creative thinking. The merger was a piece of that, right? We decided to merge. That was creative thinking. Agencies simply cannot operate now as modular units. We have to come together. And so Blue Door and Out of the Cold merging was one of the first mergers of two nonprofits coming together. That was creative thinking. We're going to be doing the same with the affordable housing, and that's going to be shortly moving into the investigation stage. So that's very exciting. The second stage supportive housing is providing supports to people that are moving into housing, whether that includes mental health, addiction support, and of course, Construct, the employment and the training. So everything that you talked about, Blue Door is now doing and Out of the Cold. We're doing it at a grassroots level with the organization level in partnership with other organizations as well. And now we're going to be bringing in, through the merger with Mosaic, the community. And so it's very exciting. So a bit about the programs there. So now, Coldest Night of the Year, March. Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking lead on this for the last 3 or 4 years. I think 3 years. She's amazing. She really has taken everything on. So I thank you so much. And I thank Connecting the Community and all of you guys for getting involved. This is where the donations are going to help. Funds from Coldest Night of the Year this year, which is the virtual event, will go towards Out of the Cold. And if there are extra funds, they will go towards the other Blue Door programs. Our goals are 500 walkers, 100 teams, and $140,000 raised. And I believe this morning we were at 44%. Marge and I and our committee have a bit of a bet going that by our meeting on Tuesday, I said we'll be at 65%. I'm not sure what Marge said, but I'd like to win. So if we can all really work hard to really get to the 65% by Tuesday, please. We are getting there. So we're hoping in the next 18 days, we can get to our goal. You all probably have heard from Marge. This is how to help. Please register to walk. Marge has a team which is doing amazing. So please register with her or just donate. There's these beautiful toques, which you will get if you raise 150 or 75 for youth. I don't know, Marge, if you have mine. Mine is somewhere else right now. They're gorgeous. So if you get to that point, you will get one of those toques. They will be distributed soon. Sponsorships. We're really looking for sponsors. If you go on our website, we have some wonderful sponsors right now, but we're looking for more. It's a national event, so they do get national recognition. And if you can let them know, anybody that you know, businesses, small or big, or anyone can sponsor, even if it's just an agency, Lions Club, Rotaries, anybody. So if you're interested in sponsoring, please let me know. It's very easy. And then again, promotion. Please help us share the CNOY event. You can post it on your social media. People are talking about Instagram and stuff, and I said to Marge, you know, I'm too old to do all of that, but I do have my Facebook, and so sharing would be great as well. Here is the link to cnoy.org/location Richmond Hill. And again, that will show you all the teams. You can click on a team. I have a team as well, which is, you know, I haven't really had the time to build on it. So I'm hoping to do that as well right now, but you can find teams like mine. You can sponsor teams, you can join a team, you can start your own, you can walk on your own. So please help us advertise, and that's the link over there. So that is my presentation. I'll stop sharing, and Marge, you can maybe just